What up? Episode 83 of the Too Thicc Pod, your home for sports, cards, and levity. I am the sensei, Jeremy from Reckless Cards. I am joined, as always, by the handsome protege, Manny Flores.
What's up? How are you? And welcome to your hobby release. It's Manny, and we're excited. It seems like we do these a week apart, but we need to do more because I'm always excited to get talking with you on Thursdays.
Yeah, you know what? Truly, as like a hobby, is something you do for fun. You know, as we've mentioned numerous times, we've got kids, we've got jobs, we've got spouses, and Courtney does a lot of stuff on a daily basis within the hobby that becomes downright distraction from work because she's like, I'm working on this or I'm doing this. And it's so freaking fascinating. And so it's always good to just go live and just chop it up and have it. Tonight we're doing like the real, like if you're at a bar, I'm having an adult beverage after a long, hard day work, just ready to talk about sports cards.
Well, I mean, I feel like I bug you a lot because you do have Courtney that talks like sports cards with you. I don't have anyone, so I'm over here calling you like, Jeremy, did you see this news? Did you see this card that was pulled? Blah, blah, blah. Because I mean, I try to do it with my 3-year-old, but she just tells me to basically screw off. I'm playing Barbies. Leave me alone. So I get excited for these podcasts.
Yeah, my youngest are like, Daddy, you buy me Pokemon? Yes or no? And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, sweet, I don't have Pokemon for you right now. And then she's like, well, you're dead to me. I don't give a shit about anything you have to say. No, but what I really like too is we each have different experiences in our tenure in the hobby, different durations, different cards, different people, different ways we've gone about navigating these waters. And because Courtney and myself have been married for so long, a lot of the stuff we fall in line and tend to have very similar opinions. Now, once in a while, there's something where we're on opposite ends of the table. And so the way I consume hobby content is not only do I listen to the stuff that I like, I also listen to the stuff that I think I won't like to understand or gain a different perspective, which I feel ultimately makes me a more well-rounded hobby participant. And so I like to chop it up with you because we don't chat. Like we chat about like cards that we're going to buy or we shoot the breeze, but we have no idea. I don't have your opinions. I don't know if we're going to agree or we're going to disagree. You know, Obviously for clicks and likes and for the gram, I hope there's some friction, but it's not going to be manufactured. It's just going to be, you know,
it'll be the Bears versus Cowboys type friction, like me and you going at it.
October 30th when we record live in Dallas.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to spend thousands of dollars to go watch the Bears play like shit.
Yeah, I'll sell some of my cards. I mean, I'm in the hole of all of them, but we'll get tickets there.
Yeah, so I think tonight we have a pretty fun episode. I think we would be liars if we just came on and said every episode's locked and loaded. But there's certain episodes, there's topics that you're excited to talk about. And so we got this like weird show season leading up to the National. Myself and Courtney have started to do a lot more shows. And that's more so because it's just a tremendous opportunity to buy. We've got the National coming up. We've got like the podcast and some of the stuff that we're working on. And it's just like a really, really interesting time. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about alt auctions because quite frankly, I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to that platform. I haven't used it very much. And then we're going to talk a lot about grading, not to get into like the bullshit and like to fight about it, but just to try to how we perceive or feel what's truly going on in the grading game and what we're personally seeing and go from there.
Yep. And then also, I mean, like you were saying, me and you both had a busy weekend. You went to Chicago for a trade night show and then you came back and we watched Formula One. So we'll get into that. We always wanted to, when we decided to do this podcast, we wanted to go into shows and then come on the podcast and kind of see, like, let you guys know our experience at these shows, who we've met. If we've ever met you at a show, it's awesome. Come say hi. We want to talk to you guys. Like I said, I don't talk to too many people that are into sports cards, so I'll just sit there and talk to you for an hour. But we do want to bring that into the light. So you did go to Mark's trade night on, what is it, last Friday, right?
Yeah, and I just to piggyback off of what you said, going to these shows, interacting, having your own conversations will give you a much more accurate pulse on what's going on, because some of the stuff that we see on social media isn't always the reality. And, everybody says like market's dead, we're all going to die. And if you're truly a collector, or even if you are looking for arbitrage opportunities or ways to make money, it is an absolutely freaking beautiful time to be in this hobby. I am absolutely enjoying it, because cards that a year ago that were out of my price range, I'm able to capture. People who are dumping because, whether it's inflation, they're out of a job, or they lost their ass on crypto, whatever the case may be. If you're truly in it for the love of the cards, to buy things you like, it's a great time. Right. It is an absolute great time. If not to be too cliche, but if you're buying stuff that you like, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
who gives a shit? I like the community. I like cards that are cool, that grab my attention. Like, ooh, shiny thing. I want that. And I can afford it. So that's cool.
Yeah. Can I tell you one thing why I do like collecting though? Like, because
it would make my day if you told me something, sir.
Well, I came in like later. You've been collecting pretty much your whole life. What I like is I do like fantasy football, fantasy baseball. So I buy cards that are like players on my fantasy team, because I get that enjoyment, because I'm already rooting for them. And I'm like, man, I got to get the rookie cards. I don't care if it's a running back that's, like drafted in the 7th round. It's just cool to have like your set. And if you win a championship, to have your team, there's that reason. And then also when I buy these rookie cards, I'm rooting for teams that I wouldn't even watch them play. Like, for example, soccer, I could get, let's say we talked about in the past, Pedri. Maybe I'm not watching Barcelona. I like Chelsea. But if I'm getting a Pedri rookie, I'm excited to watch him play on Spain. Like, I'm just in Barcelona. Like, it makes me want to watch the sport a little bit more.
It really does. And so I found when I'm like betting on sports at a sports book, that like there was the very, very intelligent, well thought out play. And then there was also the, hey, I just want to bet on this game to make it interesting.
Yeah.
And with sports cards, you can actually, in a way, bet on a game without actually betting on a game and enjoy it. So to your point, it is awesome. You might watch a game because you have a card of a second baseman for a baseball game that you wouldn't watch, or a cornerback, or whatever, or even hockey. And so I think it's a fun way to not only enjoy sports, but to enjoy cards.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'm like, you could even go with like wrestling. I buy some wrestling and I'm like, let's go get the title. Come on. Like, Money in the Bank was on last weekend, and I'm like cheering for the guys that I bought. I've never thought I would be doing that kind of stuff before collecting cards.
I am low key. Some of my favorite experiences over the last 2 years have been on free breaks that we've done on Instagram or whatnot, where we just rip wrestling, because everybody throws around nostalgic. And I think that's like grail. I think that word gets overused too much, but it truly is. You get out a box of wrestling cards and you get a group of people who might not watch now, but watched back in the day, and people start telling stories, making jokes. And it's like some of the absolute best times. And as a result of that, because there was this wrestler who you're aware of, Otis, who was Thicc. I mean, this is months ago, where we just started throwing it around before there was even the genesis of this podcast. And then that led to Dewdrop, and Courtney and myself have built a fucking Dewdrop rainbow.
Yeah. Did you end up winning that card? I swear I thought you like had one on auction like last week.
Dude, we went and we were, and you know how there's like the joke about like, oh, there's Amazon packages come every day. There's shit from eBay all the time, because like Courtney goes on there and she's like, I'm on the hunt. I'm getting these Dewdrops. So you got gold auto, white sparkle. And there's there's just so many damn parallels, but it's fun and it makes for a cool story. Are we ever going to see an ROI on that? No, but you know what's great is every time there's like a new case hit, like the Galactic from Dewdrop came out and was on eBay, you better believe I'm getting like the DMs from Drake's PC or Flat Matt with like the water drops, like, and it's cool. It makes for a fun time. It's like you could go to like a comedy show, or you could go to the movies, and $20-$30. Now I've got a card that when people come over, they go like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. I remember him. Who the hell is that? Or why do you have that? And I'm like, I don't just have one. We've got 14 of them, and it's
You want to see
cool,
them
man.
all?
It's fucking cool.
That's awesome. I still think we should do like the PC Thicc like athletes, like Bartolo Colon, Pablo Sandoval, like these guys that they're like in shape like us, but they're pro athletes. So it'd be cool to have like a little set of just all Thicc people.
I'm down. I'm down. We need to make that happen. You got to run a poll and be like, who's the first few Thicc athletes we go after, and we'll make it happen.
I
so
agree.
getting back on track, we did the Marks trade night. It was supposed to be, and I think the holiday weekend kind of threw it off a little bit, and then you catching the Rona. It was supposed to be like, reckless cards, too thick pod, and it kind of went by the wayside a little bit, but Courtney and myself made it out there.
Yeah, I'm a piece of poop.
Kind of stupid because holiday traffic, Michigan to Chicago and then back was no damn joke. But we got there, and I will say this, like, Mark is incredibly engaging. He like definitely plays the role, and it was so kid friendly that from a trying to go there and acquire cards, probably not the greatest experience. And I mean that, like, I was expecting, based on some of the recent trade nights where I've gone to, where people are walking around with 6-figure cards. These were kids with, $10 cards to $50 cards. Courtney brought a ton of giveaways. So we gave out kids packs, slabs. I can't tell you how many times cards that I gave away, kids tried to sell back to me or trade to me. And I'm like, nah, kid, I'll help you out. But I gave you that card for a reason.
Yeah. Well, I was watching like video, like TikToks and Instagrams from Mark's cards, and I see you in the background. And Mark is like, it's cool what he does. He was like, all right, everyone grab their cards. Is there a player with the letter Z? And every kid gets excited, and he's giving out free packs. Those kids made it out great because they had Mark giving out free packs. And then when a Reckless crew came in, they were giving out free cards. Everyone was pretty much getting free stuff except you. They were trying to get you. They wouldn't trade you fairly, it seemed like.
No, I mean, I picked up a few cards, and I'll share them in a minute. Nothing that's going to, like, break the bank. But there was one time I was in the middle of a deal, and I just so happened to be holding a Pedri. And they're like, if you have a card in a slab of a player who's under 22, I'll give you a free pack.
You're
and so I put it up there, and the guy's like, no, Pedri's not 22. I'm like, dude, he's 19.
Yeah.
And so there's this back and forth. Somebody pulled out Google, and they're like, yeah, no, he's right. So I got the free pack of cards, gave it away to a kid. But what was cool was all of those kids that left on that day are going to continue to be hobby participants.
Yeah.
Because they had a great experience. They were having pizza. They were having pop. They're talking sports. They're engaged. And like, it's awesome because me as a 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old, I sure as hell wasn't approaching adults trying to cut deals, or I would never have had the confidence to talk to an adult like, nah, man, I know better than you, or I know my shit. And so it's really cool to see that from the kids.
Yeah. And on the other hand, like I told you before, I'm scared of kids with suitcases. So I'm the opposite. I'm like the kid that wouldn't talk to adults. Now I'm the adult that if I see a kid, I'm running away because I know I'm going to get taken advantage of. And I'm not going to be mad about it, but I just try to avoid it.
Well, last year at National, our first night, we broke off. Everybody was exhausted. And I'm going to go back to trade night, but I'm painting a picture for you. And Steven, who he's got his own Instagram up now, King Steven's Cards. So go make sure you check that out. He's posting his David Montgomery PC. He was excited. He bought all these cards and he thought he got a deal.
Yep.
And then like, that's where like I felt for him because it was like, hey man, they charged you as if this was a Bowman Chrome. This is Bowman paper. He charged you like this was a parallel. This is the base.
Yep.
And it like gutted him, like in tears, like because he really thought that he did right and made good deals, only to find out he was screwed. I tell you that because there was a couple of cards that these kids had at trade night, and they wanted to do a deal.
Yep.
And they were like low numbered, slabbed, incredibly scarce cards. However, my fear was I can't put an accurate price on this. I can give you my best guess, but I'm haggling with a kid. And knowing me being an adult, me being an imposing figure relative to a small child, I would feel like shit if I took advantage. So I actually called Mark over. Oh, got a special guest, beautiful young lady.
Hi.
Hey
everyone, this is Haven, by the way.
Oh, she's so beautiful. Thank God she looks like mommy and not you.
Yeah, can you go back upstairs? I'll be right up, okay? Love you.
So sorry about that. This kid had this very nice card.
Yeah.
And he wanted a couple of cards that I had. And the cards he wanted were like some like maybe base inserts or some like Cornerstone, like some lesser brands, but low numbered auto cards. So I actually called Mark over and I said, look, here's the deal. This kid wants to make the deal. I really don't know what to place a value for on this card. Can you please stand here? I don't mind losing the deal.
Yeah.
Like I really don't. But what I don't want is this kid to walk away and feel like he got it taken advantage of. Yeah. So ultimately I told the kid, unless it feels 100% right and you feel like you're getting an absolute steal, my suggestion to you is don't do the deal. Put the card up on eBay, put a ridiculous number on it, or what you think is a ridiculous number, and put offers on and start to kind of get a feel for what's coming through.
Yep.
And so go ahead.
That's a good I guess learning advice even for me, because I struggle when I have a card that is kind of low numbered. And when you're going to try to sell it and they're like, what do you think it's worth? And I'm always like, I have no idea. And then I'm not good at negotiation. I'm like, I got it for this price. I'm looking at this price, so you can both kind of make a profit. I think it's this, but I screw myself because I go initially telling them what I pay for it. But if I do it kind of that back end research where I put it on eBay, see where offers are, I could tell the dealer that this is the type of offers I'm getting. I can give you like a cut off because of the eBay fees and all that if you want it at this price or not. So I do think that's very valuable, even at people like my age, not just kids,
100%. And so because I don't have to in like a negative way, but there's a lot of haggling and a lot of understanding of specifications and a lot of like arguing KPIs from a different angle. So I'm working on a deal right now where I have to go, like, think of a 3-team deal. I have to go acquire a card over here to get this card, to move it over here to get a card I want. Person I'm trying to acquire the card from has zero interest in cash. They want this card.
Okay.
So my negotiation with the guy is like, look, man, I know you have me over a barrel. You've got a good reputation. You're fair. Here's the deal. The main piece that we were talking about trading is I can legitimately make a claim that this is a $2,000 card.
Yep.
No questions asked. And anybody would look and agree with my reasoning. However, I can also take that same card and tell you why it's only a $1,000 card.
Yep.
And anybody that would listen would agree. So like, I'm not trying to haggle. I don't want to bust balls. I don't want to fight. I want to make this painless as possible. What do you think is fair? Regardless of the number, I've got upside in it. You know what I mean? And so for me, I also use that as an opportunity to create a relationship with this person who I know, who has a showcase of cards that I absolutely love, that I'll be able to work with again.
See, that's awesome. Like, because the worst fear I hate with haggling too, is you have the card and they pick it apart. They'll be like, well, this is comparable on eBay, and look, it's been listed for this long and at this price. So they're not getting any deals, obviously. So I'm not going to pay like a quarter of this price. So I'm going to pay something like that. That's one thing I do hate about like the haggling, like selling cards. It's really like, I get to a point where I'm like, I'm just going to sell like on eBay or something and do an auction. So then I know that I'm not, I mean, you could get screwed on auctions, but I don't have to deal with like the haggling. It kind of turns off people. And I realize that like we bring it back to the kids. If they're getting like haggled by these adults, they're not going to want to do this anymore. They're just like, yeah, screw it.
Correct. And so my interactions with kids, and it was just like, hey man, you got some fire in your case. Your case is lit. My
Yeah.
shiz is mid compared to yours,
Yeah.
bro. That's just not what I'm collecting right now. And I'm always incredibly complimentary, always friendly, because I want them to walk away and have a positive, because you never know.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely never know. And guess what? And I messaged you earlier about a show card about picking up a Cade Cunningham card.
Yep.
The Michigan stuff that I have in my Zion case locally moves like without hesitation.
Yep.
Miguel Cabrera, Justin Verlander, Matthew Stafford. But like those aren't players that I liked, did nothing for me. And when I was in Chicago, there was never a demand for it. But going to shows and understanding and knowing that just because of our personal circumstance and because of my work, I have the ability to go back and forth. I've now identified that, like, hey, I have all this awesome Chicago stuff, but nobody in Detroit gives a shit about it.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're Pistons, Lions, Tigers. And so what I find is there's always an opportunity where I can take my Chicago stuff to Chicago, pick it up, and then like Detroit stuff, which, mind you, people in Chicago think Michigan and Detroit is like a hellhole and it's like terrible and there's nothing here. And it just makes for an incredible opportunity. So long-winded, like you never know who you're going to cross paths again. And somebody could have a dope Patrick Williams in their case, but because they're a Detroit fan or something, like you just never know.
Yeah.
In this industry, you're going to cross paths again. So I try to leave it on as best terms as possible.
You have it great too, like you said, because you do travel a lot. So you could go to, like, let's say you go to Cincinnati and you go to a card show and you see, or a card store, and you see a lot of like Detroit stuff. You could pick that up. Maybe they like the Bengals and you have some like Joe Burrows and they could give you a good deal where you're trading down, where you could easily make the money up here. Or you go to like Columbus, Ohio, or you're going to Chicago, like you said. Yeah. It's perfect for you, to be honest, because then you come back to these shows, you can have a whole showcase of Detroit stuff that people haven't seen because it's out of the state, and you're going to be the person that everyone wants to come and look at their case.
Exactly. And as we mature in our time and we try to be more dialed in with our traveling, we've started to become mindful of that. And that's why I messaged you about that Cade Cunningham today, was because the guy who has it is a Bulls fan. He has he lives in Colorado, has no idea of like what the buzz is like locally here. Like the buzz for Pistons basketball is real. Like the people around me think the Pistons won the draft and in 2-3 years they're going to be title contenders.
Oh yeah.
And Cade is the shit. All the kids want Cade jerseys. Well, I mean, if you're somewhere else, you're not picking up on that vibe. And us setting up at shows, hey, do you have any Cade Cunningham? Hey, do you have any Cade Cunningham? And so, like, to me, I was like, man, this guy isn't valuing the card the way I would value it being local here.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a lot of room to learn too, because what did I say when you sent me that? I was like, it was Cade, it was Court Kings, right? I was like, Prism comes out tomorrow. Wouldn't that kind of degrade the value? I'm over here like trying to think of the opposite. I don't always want to be like, yeah, you're right, Jeremy. I kind of want to put something else in your head before we do it. And when you brought up the idea of like, yeah, hey, this Cade's someone's going to want it here when we go to the shows. And it kind of made sense to me. But at first I'm like thinking more of like, as a whole, like, yeah, this is number one pick, but the new draft is coming out, right? Or not coming out, but everyone's hyped up on this new draft. The Prism just came out, so everyone's going to be talking about Prism, and Court King's value is going to go down. So I was just like into that fear state. But once you kind of broke it down to me, it makes sense. Because,
and I mean, there is no guarantee when you're talking about spending four figures on a card. There is no guarantee that there's going to be an ROI on it. But like, I love the discussion. I love the dialogue, because what you responded with was a different perspective, and I know I'm guilty of this 1,000 times. I see something, my brain goes like this. I form an opinion and I fall in love with a card. Yeah. I have to get it. I need to go sell one of my kids. You know what I mean? You know, sell the pool, rent out space in my house, give away
Yep.
my car, go turn tricks on the corner, whatever I got to do because I need to get that card. And that card is going to make me a fucking cardboard millionaire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then routinely, I'm wrong, right? Like, hey, there's
No.
another release. No, I'm saying this has truly happened. Another release comes out, or it's not quite as hot, and here's why. And so you learn these things, and so it's always good to like pump the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I play devil's advocate. Why is this card suck? What's going to go wrong? And if after I still do that, if I still love it, that's when I make a move on it or make a play.
Oh yeah, and I think when we get to know each other a little bit more, every time you're gonna bring a card, I probably try to question it a different way, because I know you have that mindset of like, I don't care about losing money. I'm gonna buy it whatever I want, and it's okay. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna be like that type that's like, all right, let me try to reel them in, and let's have a talk before we actually purchase it. So I think when we get to know each other, it's going to be great, because I'm going to be sending you cards, and I hope, like, if I'm like, yeah, let's get it, I want you to be like, hey, Manny, chill out. This is going to be, there's like Prism on the way or something like that. So I kind of want that kind of criticism. It makes me learn a little bit more. So I'm trying to do it to you. That's how my brain works too.
Sure. So I picked up 3 cards.
Yeah.
And I came out of pocket just a smidge of cash and some Dame Lillard slabs that are relatively low pop,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just because it's probably not a card that most people graded to begin with that I can get back into. So, as I mentioned on previous episodes, I'm really big into just listening to other transactions, understanding what people are doing and why, paying attention to where their prices are at. Are they in the ballpark or are they, 3x?
Mm-hmm.
And just getting a feel. Well, there was a guy in there who's getting ready to move with his girlfriend out of state, and basically came in there and he's like, my girlfriend or fiance, whatever, told me I gotta liquidate. I gotta get rid of some of these cards. So I'm looking to move into a bigger card. I'm willing to overpay. I'm willing to do whatever. So I had heard that. So I
Yep.
paid attention. So nothing crazy. But you got the round 1 optic contender Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, numbered out of 75.
Yep.
I picked up this Lamar Jackson certified rookie card. Probably won't come through, but it's actually a 4-color patch.
Oh, it is. Yep. I see it.
And so like this is a guy who I think placed an emphasis on basketball and did not hold football in high regard. He was like probably somebody who loves ripping wax, but isn't in the hobby like on a daily basis and probably doesn't understand the buzz for football.
Mm-hmm.
And then last one, to put a bow on everything that we spoke about, was this card that he absolutely placed no value on. Like a Stafford 1/1.
Oh, see, that's smart for you.
And I'm like, I don't like Matthew Stafford. I don't collect Matthew Stafford. I don't think I've ever seen a Matthew Stafford card that I'm like, I have to have. But knowing where I live and understanding what I've seen Matthew Stafford cards do in this market, to me, it was a no-brainer, especially what I gave up.
That's awesome. No, I actually like what was it, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got 2 of the prime quarterbacks that people are looking for. You got a 4-color patch of Lamar and the Stafford 1/1.
Yeah, and like I told you, in March, April, we dipped from football and moved on to like I've gone pretty damn hard in soccer.
Yep.
Like I've been pretty clear about that. That's what we're doing. And so we capitalized at the Ship Shawana show as the buzz for football, as the people who are attending these shows regularly are starting to become more savvy and everybody's trying to be out in front of the next person. The build up for football came a little bit sooner. It's typically been, right before national. So the intent of picking up those cards is not to hold. It's when I'm at trade nights or when I'm with kids who this is what they want. They don't want Kobe Bryant. They don't want Michael Jordan. They don't want something that you and I might be attracted to. This is what they want. And so this gives me the ability to negotiate into cards that I want.
Oh, yeah, of course. And I mean, kids are all about, like you said, I hear kids left and right. I want Justin Herbert. I want Justin Herbert. That's the thing. I want Herbert. I'm like, I don't have Herbert. I don't collect him because I mean we went on that rant where I don't think his market's way too high. See, the thing with my problem I'm starting to realize is I think of myself like I'm trying to outsmart the market, like the Herbert market. I think he's so priced out. But in my head, I'm not thinking that there's people that want him. So if I can get a good deal on him, it's an easy like to basically flip. Or like I don't like any of the Detroit teams. So I'm never looking at Detroit teams when I'm going out of state or anything because I don't care for them. But I care about like what I like. Like I like the Mavs, I like the Cowboys, I like the Red Sox, right? So I'm looking at that kind of stuff, but it's harder for me to actually sell here because no one really wants those type of cards. I mean, you've been to a card show with me. I'm over here looking for Nomar Garcia Parra cards. I can't find them anywhere. But if I went to Fenway, bet I find them all the time.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I picked up on that I am aware of just based on recent show and trade night experiences. Like the buzz for hockey is real.
Yeah.
Like I had more Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, and Kale thrown in my face than I would have ever imagined. And it's a combination of things. There's some new TV deals coming up. It was a pretty fun postseason, but also you can buy a hobby box or hell, an entire case of hobby boxes cheaper than some of these releases for the other sports are coming out. Oh, and by the way, you pull some of these young guns or some of these RPAs of some of these stud hockey players, there's a tremendous market for that. So I think some of these people who are pretty savvy are one step ahead and they're spending their money on hockey. And I think that's kind of a cool play. Like I don't know the hockey market too well. I know some of the big names, but now I'm intrigued. I want to check it out.
Yeah. Can I tell you I'm going against the grain with soccer cards. I think everyone's talking about how the soccer market's going to go up with World Cup. I'm going to be the Debbie Downer. I don't think it is. I think the play with soccer is buy now, but also right after the World Cup, or because people are going to be unloading their cards into the market. So like right after the World Cup or right during the World Cup might be the time to buy because it's going to be oversaturated. I'm trying to think of outside the box. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's just everyone's talking about let's buy soccer cards to lead up to the World Cup. Let's buy. Me and you are buying them because we like the players, right? I mean, yeah, we want to make a profit out of them, but we're into the long term. I mean, you got a Pedri, you got a 19-year-old superstar. You're not looking. I mean, if it goes up a little bit, World Cup, I don't see you. You might get rid of some, but you're keeping long term. So I think with the people that don't know soccer that are buying these cards just because of the World Cup are going to be kind of saddened during November. That's my take. I don't know if I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong, completely wrong, but.
So I participated on a Discord fire sale. And so I want to be as well-rounded as possible within like the time that I have available to dedicate to cards. And I like full disclosure, I suck at sleeping. Like, and it's a weird fucking thing to suck at. I am not a good sleeper. Like, I don't know why. It's a weird thing to be bad at, but I'm not a good sleeper.
It's a Starbucks you buy.
Probably.
You drink like a gallon of Starbucks a day. You're not going to be able to sleep.
Dude, I don't know if you saw my Twitter today, but like because Starbucks pissed me off 3 weeks ago where I went like for the third day in a row and the machine was broken. And I tweeted at them and they slid into my DMs and gave me a credit or whatever. But I'm like, you know what? Fuck y'all. I'm like, I was spending $500 to $600 a month on average, like on a light month. And that's no joke. I was going to Starbucks 2 or 3 times a day. Obviously, sometimes I grab Corda coffee or grab the kids something, but I was going 2 to 3 times a day. Anyway, I didn't go for 3 weeks because I love coffee. And so I've got like a whole coffee bar in my kitchen. And I was like, holy shit, there is a lot more money in my bank account when I'm not spending like $100, $125 a week on Starbucks.
Yeah.
So today I was traveling, obviously, so I got to stop. I got to get my pick-me-up. And I was in Indiana where like the fucking Starbucks was located like in a graveyard. And so my daughter was with me because she interns for my company.
Yeah.
And I'm like, So just so you know, you tell mom, you tell Court, this is where I want to be buried. I can get my nitro. I can walk out. They can throw me in the ground, give me a headstone. The
Yeah.
weirdest thing. And I even said something to the barista. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like literally, I'm gonna sit at the window with my Apple computer, right? Because I'm a Starbucks snob. And look at tombstones.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we get that a lot.
That's your dream.
Anyway, I lost my whole train of thought. We were talking about soccer cards or something.
Yeah, it's like you said you're bringing up like I brought up how
the Discord. I got you. I'm back, baby. I'm back. So I like to watch these different things, and I like to see what cards work where, what's effective on what not, what's going to work on network, what sells on eBay, what moves on Twitter, what like I just pay attention to these things, and maybe it's because of what I do in my day job that like I'm aware of these things.
Yeah.
But I watched it, and soccer cards came up, and I like specifically the guy did a really, really fine job of promoting his show and took really good pictures. And so I saw like some Mbappe gold PSA 10 slabs, some Pulisic, like early Borussia Dortmund PSA 10 slabs. And so I'm like, I'm going to jump all over the soccer.
Yeah, why didn't you tell me about these cards? I would have went halfsy on all those cards with you.
Well, so here's how it played out. Here's how it played out. The Mbappe, because it was a name, sold for over comps. The Pulisic sold for I don't want to say stupid because I don't want to count insulting, but it was well over comps. But I'm watching the chatter in the thing, and there's a lot of people who, and I don't want to sound like I'm being an asshole because I'm not, but it's clear that they're not like hardcore soccer watchers. And so Pulisic comes up, and everybody's talking about how he's the greatest soccer player. America's got all this young talent, and we've spoke about that. Where in America, you don't have to be good at soccer, but if the Americans, because there's like this groundswell that you get excited about American soccer, that if you even perceive that somebody's going to be the next great thing, you jump all over it. You jump all over it. So I watched it. So then some other stuff came up from like Bundesliga, where it was like players that I knew. Like there was like forgive me if I say his name wrong, like Sukic.
Okay.
Where like these cards it was like a 7-card lot, and the cards on average raw were going for between like, let's say $15 to $35 a piece. So let's just say 15 across the board, 15, 30, 45, 90, $105 for the 7 cards. I picked up the lot for $3.
Jeez. Because no one knew about them.
Nobody knew. And if you even just like hit eBay, Card Ladder, Market Movers, whatever app you want to use, Alt, and looked it up, you just saw that this one card alone was like consistently at auction raw $25.
Jeez.
And the guy was like, holy shit, you got to steal. And I'm like, yeah. So point being is everybody gets excited about the big names, and there's just tremendous opportunity. And I personally think that there's going to be an opportunity. It might not just be COVID where every single card makes money, but there's definitely, in my opinion, and remember, don't listen to me, do your own due diligence. There's going to be the potential to buy soccer cards on the cheap now and sell them as the buzz for this World Cup gets underway.
So do you think we should avoid like the big names like Mbappe, Pulisic until, I mean, because these guys are actually that are buying it are going to watch the World Cup and be like, wow, USA kind of isn't going to win the World Cup. And then that's when they dump the big names, and that's when we buy the big names, and then buy like the, like the lower, like mid. I mean, in our eyes, we know that they're young stars, but like, who's going to know? I mean, Pedri, people forget about him because Ansu Fati, people are forgetting about, like all these guys that people really don't pay attention to. Buy those now because people don't really know until they watch the World Cup and they're like, oh my gosh, they're watching Germany and watching like Timo Werner score a couple goals and be like, I want him. I don't know. Kind of, am I overthinking everything?
No, I mean, there's different ways to look at it. So I look at it as, in my opinion, Bundesliga even though there's clubs that participate in Champions League,
Yep.
oftentimes like the next great striker is always coming from there.
Yeah.
So I treat that as like, think of like Bowman in baseball. I think about there's a lot of rookie cards in there, a lot of like 16, 17, 18-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good swallow of the yawn, my friend.
You like that?
I
And it's
do.
not just Bundesliga, it's Dortmund, by the way. Dortmund is the striker.
Exactly.
Bowman's.
So I look at it as an opportunity to buy guys there that you can hold lengthwise. I look at teams who are going to be historically really good at soccer. Brazil, Spain,
I thought you
Germany. I opened the door as if like you were going to finish my.
I thought you froze. I was like, uh-oh.
The Netherlands, things like that. Plus Americans, because I know regardless, Americans get excited, and I think it's cool too because I get excited. Like I have no expectation that the U.S. men's national team is going to win the World Cup, but man, if they get to the round of 16, and play a competitive game that they lose 2-1 or they lose on penalties, you're going to come out of the World Cup thinking, "Holy shit, 2026 is going to be the year."
Yeah. But that's for us, like people that watch soccer. I think more of the hype's going to be in 2026 when it's actually on our home turf where people are going to actually want to watch it a little bit more. I think people right now are just buying it because they see people like they think it's the next F1. They have no idea what they're watching. That was my kind of like opinion on it. So when the World Cup comes and they're not expecting like this 100% ROI, why don't I just dump it all? I don't care about it. And that's where like us that watch it are going to want to buy everything.
Well, I've always found soccer to be appealing just because it's like the season's done right now, but the transfer window has been fascinating. Mm-hmm. Players getting bought and sold. Ronaldo is going to end up on Chelsea, it seems like. There's all this craziness. And for me, it was always fun because we're in this weird spot now where even though I am a diehard baseball guy, I understand why most people don't like the game. It's slow. They don't understand the nuance. They don't understand 0-2 throwing 2 straight sliders low and away and not giving a pitch to hit. Like they don't understand what goes into that, or pushing a runner back to first, or moving a runner along. Like they don't get that, and the game's slow paced. And so right now there's not basketball. Like if I see one more damn headline about Chet, like just throw my computer in the fucking garbage.
Can I say that like ESPN and First Take, they have nothing to talk about. They just talk about, summer league basketball. It's so annoying. Like basketball's over. Like let's get some other storylines here. I see Chet, I see Kevin Durant, I see Kyrie Irving. Those are the only thing that people talk about, and it's like the most annoying thing in the world.
It is, dude. It is. It's such manufactured bullshit.
Yeah.
But like with soccer, okay, there's club play.
Yep.
There is your national club play. There's Champions League, and so like it's more year round, and so that's why I was attracted to it. And plus, because you have Serie A, you got the Premier League. You've got so many different leagues with players all over. And like, I enjoy learning about the players and understanding who's going to be good and why, or whatever the case may be. It keeps me intrigued. Like right now, if there wasn't soccer for me to be excited about, basketball cards are all fucked up. Like, look at this draft. Chet's already getting his ass kicked by a 6'6" guy in the post. And Prism's coming out tomorrow from last year's draft class.
Yeah. And then Cade Cunningham is playing in the picture of his rookie flagship Prism. It's a Photoshop picture of him in college.
Can you pull it up?
Let me see. I'll see if I can.
Do you have the ability to share screen that or screen share that?
Let me see. Cade Cunningham Prism. Let me see if I can find it.
So while you do that, I'm excited because I've got some Mbappe rookies that are going to be delivered tomorrow. some like a refractor, and then a Mojo prism, or I could have the name wrong, but supposedly a reputable person that I bought them from said that they look beautiful. They absolutely look beautiful. So those are going to go out. If I get them tomorrow, I'll send them out to PSA probably Monday, just because this upcoming weekend I'm going back to Chicago for the Skyline show, sponsored by Ludex. We were asked to go, and so that will be sent out on Monday. I'm looking forward to that.
All right, here it is right here.
Oh, that is painful.
Let me see. We go to Cardboard Connection. Let's scroll down right there. Look at the background. TCU. Oh. When did the Pistons play TCU?
Okay, devil's advocate, even though there's TCU there multiple times. How do you know it's I'm not gonna even try to defend that. Hey, we talked about this. Fucking Panini's just gonna give you whatever the fuck they want to give you, and these people are gonna buy it. Like, I was on the website, I think it's like $13.25 a box.
Yeah.
Through the website.
It's insane. And who's gonna want? I mean, there are people that are gonna want to buy it. So I guess, but me and you, we're a no-go, especially when they're #1 draft pick. Like, they couldn't get a picture with him in the Pistons uniform, like an actual Pistons uniform. They had to Photoshop a Pistons jersey on his Oklahoma State jersey. Like, how does that happen?
The getting is so good right now for purchasing. And this is gonna sound crazy, I almost don't even want to go to National.
Yeah. You're saying that, but man, we could we'll be able to talk to so many people. A lot of people don't know our podcast right now, and us going out there and just saying, hey, I'm Jeremy Reckless Cards, Manny Too Thick. We're too thick together. We could just market ourselves.
Yeah, no, I mean, I say that a little bit tongue in cheek, but the reality is there's a cost associated with going out there. And I think we're going out there Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, and we're staying through Monday. And hotels aren't cheap.
You want to cuddle with me?
I will.
All right.
I will. I told you this. As long as I get to be Little Spoon.
I breathe on people's neck.
Fun fact, in real life, with Courtney and myself, I am Little Spoon.
Yeah, same.
I am Little Spoon. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries, and so like when I sleep at nighttime, you ever go to a gas station and see the fucking hot dog rolling? That's how I sleep at nighttime. I do. That's probably why I suck, because I've torn both my labrums and I've had surgery. Yeah. And so I'm like, but we always start in the same spot with me as Little Spoon. I love it.
But you're staying at, did you get your plans situated?
Like, yeah, I think whatever MGM property, I believe, is where we're staying at.
And that's where we are too. So we'll be together.
So, but the thought was, like, there's so many deals. There's so many, like, hey, this card just sold at auction, $5,000. Take it $2,500. I need cash now. Mm-hmm. And I used to go get cash poor right away because I'm like, oh my God, I'll never see a deal like this again. But the reality is that there's deals like that every day if you know where to look. If you're on Twitter routinely, Discord, Instagram, story sales, eBay with auctions ending at goofy times, all PWCC. There's plenty of times, but the analyst in me was doing the math, and I'm like, gas is $47 a fucking gallon. Flights if you're flying in, but you still have to rent a car. Hotels, food, drinks, the whole shebang. And so I'm like, man, that's like $5,000-$10,000.
Yeah,
that I could put into cards or invest in something else.
Yeah,
but I say that because, I kind of half joking, but the importance to me is like going out there and spending time with people, the networking, continuing to cultivate dynamic relationships, and continuing to grow what is the juggernaut known as Too Thick Pod.
Yep. We do need to get merch. Hopefully we have merch by National, and we could you'll see us with our little Too Thick logo. I think it's going to be really fun. We live in Michigan together, and we've ran into each other, but like spending that time with us two, right? Learning each other, is going to be great. I'm excited to this is my first national, and I don't know what to expect. I don't know how much money to bring. I don't know what cards to bring. So I'm kind of like banking on you helping me through this whole thing because I don't know anything. I'm gonna walk in. My biggest card show I've been to is probably Shipshewana. So I'm gonna walk in like, where do I start? Like Jeremy, I'm gonna be like a lost puppy. Like, please don't leave me.
Yeah. So one thing for us, I'm not going there to grade cards.
No.
I'm not going there to get the redemptions. I'm not trying to get the black box or white box 101s. And I'm not going there for the autographs. None of that stuff does anything for me. So we buy the standard pass. Now, I know there's always questions about VIP.
Yeah.
You would want the VIP because traditionally, or at least in recent history, you get early access by like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, hour, whatever it may be. So if you know there's a booth where there's a card and you're going to go sprinting through the convention center to get there, there's some value in that. Now, I will tell you, if you're friendly and you talk enough, some of those things that you want, especially the autograph tickets, people just give them to you. Oftentimes it's because people want to get in line for PSA to get their cards graded, or they want their redemptions.
Oh, yeah.
And I will tell you, after like 2 or 3 days, we weren't there right when doors opened in the morning because the true action happens late at night. There's the impromptu trades, whether it's at the hotel lobby or something that's being, sponsored. Those, from a card perspective, in my opinion, has always been the greatest and easiest way to transact at the hobby.
Okay.
At the national within the hobby.
And we already have Wednesday and Thursday kind of set at night, right? We have the collectible event on Wednesday, right? With Lucas Tigers, the cigar night we're going to. Yeah. And then Thursday is Ryan, the card collector, and Kentucky Roadshow's trade night. So we'll probably be there, right? I guess we don't know anything Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? It would just probably be just the spur of the moment type thing.
Yeah. And so I will tell you, if you've never done the trade show before, like the trade show circuit before, like I run a lot, I walk a lot, like I'm on my feet a lot. I will tell you that at the end of the day, your feet and legs are going to be legitimately tired because that's just a lot of walking. And
I got an idea. You could pull me and I'll be in the wagon just throwing two.
What if I always wanted to do this and I never, like, for all the crazy shit I did as a kid, I always wanted to do this is go to like Six Flags or Cedar Point and like fake a broken leg. So what if we get you a double wide fucking wheelchair and like just make way.
You just push me into people's tables.
Big fella coming through.
Let's do it. And I'll just have like two Thicc merch just throwing out while you just push me around.
Yeah, and so like so last year my biggest gripe was, even if there was cards I wanted to look at, it was so packed that as you're trying to like, thumb through a dollar box, you're getting knocked. People are hitting you with, because people have like, I have like, like your little Zion case that you saw me with in Lansing. Yeah. There's people that have like fucking things like you can't even get the full, like my arms don't even fit.
Yeah.
With like legitimately had to be like thousands of slabs. And so he'd be like, oh, I have that. Let me open my box, and it takes him 42 minutes to fucking scroll through. And well, maybe it was in my other case. I would suggest too, unless you're gonna wait in line to see if Brian Gray from Leaf is gonna buy your cards, or Mealy Pops or Card Collector 2. I probably am not lugging around a case of cards. I found that to be a pain in the ass. I found it like when I had to go to the bathroom because Courtney can't come in the men's room with me. It's not like when we were younger, we sneak off in the bathroom and get involved in some debauchery.
That's exactly where my mind went. I was like, you guys are probably making kid 5.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. But like, so I think this year what we're going to do is try to bring a briefcase and like consolidate like maybe 10, 15 cards that we think, like if you had to go cash card deal. But I just try to like walk it the first day, get an idea of what's where, see if anything grabs my attention. Like try to identify who, like if you were to just walk up, let's say you walk up to a booth and you just pick 3 cards at random and check comps. And if all 3 cards are stupid, like not even remotely close to recent comps, I'm probably no longer even entertaining wasting my time at that table, because on that small sample size, in my opinion, they've already demonstrated their pricing is going to be out of whack.
Yep. Okay. So you go and look at like a common card, like for example, a Job, Morant, Base, Prism, or something, and you kind of know that price point and kind of go from there.
Maybe not as basic as that, but like pick like a let's say between like $200 and $1,000 card, something that's got a little bit of scarcity or rarity built in, but not something that's like a base common.
I see. Okay.
Because when you go to the other end, if it's like so scarce or limited, well, they control the market, and so you can't really art. That's their card. But let's say there was like a let's just use like a Justin Herbert Prism PSA 10 that was numbered, where we've got some recent sales. If they're 5x on that card, then you look at a Dak, they're 10x. You look at Connor McDavid, like that. That's to me, because my time is valuable and there's a lot of stuff to see. So that's just a little tip that works for us.
Okay. I do want to bring up, you guys do have a booth for Hobby School, right? On Wednesday.
Yeah, Sarah Layton with Layton Sports Cards was kind enough that we're actually gonna, like, on Wednesday do a Hobby Night School live from the National, and so I'm really excited about that. The one thing that I don't have clarity on yet is Courtney is going to be speaking on the main stage.
Yep.
And I'm not sure. I don't think the topic has been dialed in. Obviously, my assumption is going to be it's something to do with women of the hobby, but I don't know when that's going to take place. But go ahead.
I'll make sure to help whatever with the Hobby School and the women of, like, if you guys need any help. If you want me to, like, at a concert, put you on my shoulders so you could like flash Courtney as she's doing her main stage speak.
I mean, if I'm Courtney and I'm up on the main stage and I see my handsome husband Jeremy on Manny's shoulders, who is another piece of handsome man, and my dong laying across your face, I might be overwhelmed.
Yeah, you forgot shirtless.
If I was one Courtney,
you're gonna be flashing her like they do at the concerts too.
Yeah, like my dong is just gonna be like just chilling.
Yeah, just chilling on my face. On my chin.
So, like, National, another thing that's cool is the late night trade nights that pop up at the hotel lobbies are awesome. I had so much fun. I did so much transacting there. Now, I will tell you, I think it was the Delta in Chicago last year that became the spot, and we took over the lobby. 100, 150 people, and it would go from, let's say, 9 p.m. to like 4 or 5 a.m.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? And the thing that sucked about that hotel is they did not have food and drink available. So you think of like a nice hotel where they've got the little like market where you can get drinks and stuff like that. They did not have that. So just be mindful of wherever you're posting up at, like be prepared to, if the hotel's not going to service you, because I've never been to Atlantic City, make sure you've got Uber Eats or DoorDash or one of those like apps that can deliver you something, because when you're wheeling and dealing, if you get hungry and thirsty, you got to eat, baby.
Yeah,
you got to eat.
But how do people, like, how does the word of mouth, is it just word of mouth that everyone's going to this hotel?
Yes, it was legitimately like the power of social media. We actually, so there was the convention center. You go across the street, there's the steakhouse that everybody went to, and then there's like a series of hotels. We were like a group of like 20, 30 people, and somebody's like, there's a trade night. And so we followed. And like, I'm an old man, there's my wife, and we're with like a bunch of fucking kids who are like, you know, smoking weed, drinking, like just having a good, like being like super friendly. And we followed them, and then all of a sudden we got to the Holy Land, and there it was. Okay.
So even though we don't know for sure, we'll probably find out there, or just go with the pack. Okay.
Oh yeah. Another thing that I think is in my opinion, is worth mentioning is talk to people, man. Talk to people. Be friendly. Have conversations. Like, I know time is important, but engaging with people, asking questions, listening to what's going on is helpful, because if you're there for whether it's 24 hours or 96 hours, some of that intel that you're going to pick up can be beneficial in a card you're trying to acquire, where you're going to get it, where a cool event's going down, hobby happenings. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it was when I went to Mint. It was like we didn't know what was going to happen afterwards, but after we talked to everyone, it just seemed like everyone was on the same page that we're going here afterwards. So yeah, it's I'm excited to go. Like I said, we'll wrap that up. I just never been. I might be a nuisance to you because Kaylee, my wife, isn't gonna go. She's gonna be like at the pool, just hanging out at the hotel. She's not really interested in going to the card show.
Sure.
So I'm gonna be by myself. So I'm gonna be maybe a nuisance. I'm gonna be like, Jeremy, where'd you go? Like, don't leave me.
So to me, that's fun though. I walked the show. There was Limestone Cards, who has like an awesome collection. He has like a tremendous amount of experience, but we made a plan that we were going to spend 2-3 hours together walking the show, and we did. And so I just like picked his brain. I tried to understand what cards he was looking at and why. He was telling me stories about people there. And I will tell you this, go talk to some of the old school vendors, ask them about just ask them about it. I heard stories about like quote unquote hobby celebrities.
Yeah.
That will fucking split your wig, man. You'll have to pick your hair up off the ground because you're not going to believe what these people have to say.
Really? Okay. I'm going to make it a known thing to go through, like the people that have the vintage stuff and all that.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm not saying you're going to hear good. I'm not going to say you're going to be bad, but the stories you're going to hear, well, one, they're entertaining, or two, somebody that you have this perception of, it might be completely changed. And then all of a sudden you understand that shit on social media isn't necessarily real.
How they are. Yeah. Okay. My goal at National is buying, like, I do want to buy I'm always debating with myself. Do I want to buy a super rare one card, or do I want to buy bulk? So I'm trying to, like, in my head, like, what do I do? Because buying bulk would be cool, and like having that experience be like, hey, I gotta ship this out. It can't fit on the plane. Like, I feel like, let me get a memorabilia piece where I have to ship out. So I'm debating in my head what I should do. It's gonna change probably there, because I'm gonna find a card that I really like. That's worth a couple of $1,000 that I want to buy, but we'll see.
Yeah, I went in there, like, I had an idea of what I wanted. And like sometimes, like, you know how they say like every good fighter has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. I felt that way. I was like, I'm looking for this, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, like I never even considered there was that Luka card that we passed on. And one of the dumbest things that I ever did was the one time I was trying to be fiscally responsible. I waited a minute to think about buying a Luka rookie, and then like, it was gone.
Yeah, so that's gonna be tough. Did you want to kind of touch on like Formula One, since we watched it with the double coverage guys live, and then this weekend there's another race. I actually did a couple of research before you start. Next week it's in Austria, and it's the Red Bull Grand Prix, and there's 3 straightaways, and then it goes into like an uphill turn, and then you go down, like slide it. That's what the description was. You go up and then it comes down. Max Verstappen won 3 out of the last 4 years. The year he didn't win was 2 years ago, and he did not finish. So he didn't get if he's completing the race, he's winning. And I can only imagine, because Red Bull has that straightaway pace. So I know last week I was like, Charles is going to win, and I don't know the course, but it seems like this is going to be a Red Bull type race.
Yeah. I first and foremost, thank God that the driver, and that is it Zhao?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Zhao.
Like, I don't mean no disrespect, but thank God he is all right.
Yeah, the Halo saved him.
It was we couldn't understand why they weren't showing replays, and so we were live with the double coverage crew from Australia.
Yeah,
Dama and Sauce. right? I got their names right.
Sleepy Sauce.
Yeah. Justin, so you had your daughter come down. I've got my dog
Yeah.
outside digging. Like, and I don't know
Hey,
if the camera's picking it up, but I
no,
messaged when I was I just messaged like, come get the effing dog.
no, I can't.
The car went upside down on the very beginning of the race.
Yep.
So the cars are at a complete halt. The race starts. Next thing you know, the car's upside down. His fucking head dragging across the racetrack.
Yep.
Car flips over. The barricade hits the fencing. And the guy walked away unscathed.
Yeah. Did you see like how it like that initial like where it flipped over the barriers was so quick? And he was lucky, like I said on this live, that it like the wheels hit the bottom of the car actually hit the fence instead of like the top of his head. But that halo saved his life with that. I know we were talking about how the drivers didn't want it, but I think they're starting to realize, yeah, maybe we should have it. It's just crazy because I remember watching it. We were watching it, and you had a delay, and I was like, oh, and because I saw in the background like cars just going off to the gravel, but we never knew exactly what happened. We just saw it was an instant red, and then you see George Russell getting out of his car and sprinting. And I made a joke. I was like, where's he going? And the car's not on fire. But he was actually going to help Zhao because he saw the crash and how he flipped. He flipped over all those water barriers.
Yeah, when George, I thought it was more like, when like an NFL wide receiver gets fucking rocked or a running back gets rocked and they pop right up and run off just to be like, you didn't phase me. That's what my initial reaction was. And because it was so long, like I think the race was delayed almost an hour.
Yeah.
Them cleaning it up. And I was just like, thank God that human being's all right.
Yes.
Because it wasn't like they were taking a turn at 200 miles per hour. It wasn't like there was this crazy straightaway. Like everybody was at a complete halt. And it just shows like the power of those machines that they have where they can get up to such a speed that a car could go upside down and then flip and bounce. And like, I don't even know like the length that it ultimately went, but it was just thank God that man's okay.
Imagine being like the people right there, the fans. I've been shitting my pants, that car coming at me like that. Because you're like, okay, it's going to hit the barrier. And that last second, it just over the barrier into the fence. I would have been.
Yep. Yeah, I don't even know how the engineering on that works, where like you would think something like that should stay down. Yeah. It was a fun race, though. The double overtake by Lewis was really exciting. And, the thing that I bitched about was I was tired of these races where it was like Max is up by 30 seconds. And then we're just going to like the battle for seventh, P7, who's going to get the points. It was cool that there was a little bit of drama at the end. And then just like, to me, like the nuance, like when are we going to pit? How are we going to pit? Mercedes was like in that 19 seconds advantage. And then they had just a god-awful pit. And then when Lewis came out, he went from being P1 to P3, like 3.5 seconds back. It was because our boys double coverage. They had Lewis winning the damn thing.
Yeah, they did. I got pissed. So my like analogy, I want to give it up to Max Verstappen. There's a picture of what was under his car. I don't like Max Verstappen, but he had a picture of like debris, like it was like this big.
And that was a piece of AlphaTauri's car, right?
Yeah, and it was under his car the whole time, and he managed to like take what was it, 7th or 8th or something like that with that big debris. But on the other hand, what was Esteban doing? He screwed Ferrari by just stopping in them straightaway. Instead of going in the pit, he stopped in the straightaway. It looked like Charles had like the lead, like he was going to run away with the first place, right? It was kind of coming down to, is Hamilton going to catch Sainz? And then they bunched them all up together. Sainz got the new wheels. Charles did it. It seems like Perez and Hamilton all got soft wheels as well, and they were able to like pretty much, except I don't think Hamilton. Yeah, they all passed him, right? They passed Charles. Um, my thing is, I don't understand penalties still. Like, why didn't Red Bull get penalized? Because if you look, it looks like Perez maybe unintentionally pushed off. It looked pushed off Hamilton and Charles off the track, but didn't get penalized. And then they showed Max Verstappen looked like he pushed Mick off the track as well, and he didn't get penalized either. And I was like, on the thing, I was joking. I was like, okay, Charles, it seems like, well, it would be funny if Lewis Hamilton and Checo both got penalized and Charles goes to second place just because of that. Because I honestly thought that was going to happen and it never did. So I don't know penalties that well. I don't know if you do, but it seemed like they were getting pushed off the track by Red Bull and nothing happened.
Absolutely not. I do not understand penalties. I will tell you one thing that I thought was impressive was it was clear, at least in my novice opinion, that Mick had a better car and Max's car was struggling because obviously he was like, pulling the AlphaTauri with it. Earlier in that live stream that we did, they talked about how there was a race last year that if Lewis Hamilton wouldn't have done something goofy and just scored a point, it would have made the difference. And so I thought, like, a few laps, I thought it was inevitable that Mick was going to pass Max because it seemed like he had the quicker car, and Max was able to defend him. So I made the comment that, like, this is one of those little things that down the road you might not think it's a big deal now, but if things get competitive and at the end of the year and Max wins a championship by a slim margin, you're going to look back to the race where he didn't win, but he was able to hold on to position and procure those points.
Yeah. I mean, and same if you want to go the opposite way, same with Ferrari. All the mistakes that they're doing in this early season could come back and bite Charles Wentz if he comes up like just a couple points short of Max. Yeah. So, and I love F1 now. I get excited I get bummed out when they're not racing a week. It's not a race weekend. So like,
I think it was cool to watch it with people who knew more than I and were able to explain to me, or like when I was asking some, like what I thought, like, hey, this is a dumb question, and it was cool to be, and especially the boys from down under who had a long day. Like, we went to bed watching UFC. Like, our night was capped with UFC, and we woke up to watch F1. Their day consisted of, like, UFC was already part of their day.
Yep.
It was 1-2 o'clock more in the morning their time, and they're fighting to stay awake to watch the race. Just shows that they truly are passionate about the sport and are some, probably punch a kangaroo in the face or something like that. You know what I mean? Some bad mofos.
And they explained to me, they do like the live coverage. They want people like us on their show because we ask those questions, and we may think it's dumb, but it's really not. It's just us learning. They make fun of us. They call us the States because I always say we don't like Max, and it's just because we watched the Netflix series of him. So they kind of do their little jokes by that, but I don't know. I love going on their live and just learning. I'll watch them every time there's a race. I'll usually have them on and watch it while I'm watching the race. So it was nice that they had us on.
Yeah, it was cool. And the home thing with like the race being in Austria is intriguing to me because like Red Bull is like this incredible marketing company, man. Like, they're going to have people dressed goofy. There's going to be people with homemade planes jumping off of shit 50 feet in the air. I don't know how, like, I don't know how. I understand how a driver could have a preference of a track. Like, I totally get that. Like, hey, Rafa on clay is incredible. A certain player on Wimbledon, a certain, like, I get all that. I don't understand how driving a fucking car in what country gives anybody a competitive advantage, and that's me being a dumbass and not knowing.
Yeah.
But from everything I read, I think coming off of like a poor performance for Red Bull, I would expect them to flex a little bit. Now, what's intriguing to me is a couple of times this year, specifically George Russell has been the beneficiary of a very convenient yellow flag. It was interesting to see that Checo was able to take P2 on a race that, quite frankly, he had no business being that high up.
Yep.
Because he was a good sum of seconds behind, but as a result of a nice flag, he was able to get up and get P2.
Yeah, going back to like your advantage, I did learn that there's difference from the street track compared to not street track.
Oh, sure.
That's where Mercedes was struggling with the, what is it, Pulpacine is what they call it.
Porpoising, the
Porpoising.
bouncing.
Yeah, and then I know Red Bull is really good at straights. They got the fastest car, but then Ferrari's good on turns. So I kind of, when I'm trying to learn all that kind of stuff. So knowing that this race next weekend has 3 straights, it's a small track with 3 big straights. I feel like Red Bull's going to be able to either use their DRS to gain advantage or just blow by everyone.
You know what's funny is like everybody has like these strong opinions who's going to win. Oftentimes it's like who took pole because they looked so dominating. Not one person predicted Carlos Sainz was going to win that race.
No, not at all.
And Carlos Sainz won the damn race, which I thought, and I had no idea it was only his first victory ever. I thought that was bananas. I had no idea.
I didn't either. I thought he won like a couple of years ago, but guess he's been taking second place a lot.
And I thought it was cool too, like the love that Mick Schumacher got, and like seeing other drivers that were happy to see him finish the race. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, to get a point. Him and Seb are like, I think Seb's like was close to his dad, right? And so he saw him growing up, so he probably treats him like an uncle or a family member. So it's cool to see how it's like a passing of the torch.
Sure. So we're coming in. We're already like 80 minutes into this bad boy, and we didn't even touch on a fraction of the topics. So we don't want to go too long because then it becomes like maybe not as easily digestible.
Yep.
So, but we did promise you get to know your host, and so today it was my turn to throw some questions in a rapid fire manner at Mr. Manny.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, don't be bad. So we'll get this, and then we'll get the hell up out of here and enjoy our day.
Yeah, and then we'll get on this weekend. We want to do more than just one time a week. You notice we have a lot to say, and we did bring up. We'll go over like some of liquid auction results. We might even talk about PWCC. There's some other topics we want to talk about as well.
I'm going to go ahead and tease. I want to talk about grading.
Yes.
I want to talk about everything surrounding PSA. Like, where the hell's my cards from, like, going on, like, 17 months ago?
Yep.
Where are the cards I submitted, like, 3-4 months ago that I was told I would get back?
Yeah.
SGC, like, you know, the meme's been pretty hard. Like, is there a pump there?
Yeah.
BGS, they're pieces of shit that only care about VHS. Well, I personally just submitted a couple of cards to BGS. And so, like, I just want to have like a fun, like, open dialogue, what you're seeing and what your thoughts are. Because quite frankly, I think all three, without getting too into it tonight, all three have a place.
Yep.
All three have like some history here. And all three have kind of, in the pecking order of 1 through 3, have shifted throughout the years, which means it's possible that there could be more shifting moving forward. So I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Yeah, and I just wanted to bring it up because we did want to cover it, but we'll do one this weekend and we'll cover mostly majority of that kind of topics.
Sure. So get to know your host. Instagram at Manny_for us. Are you ready?
Not really, but let's go.
Okay. Ice cream or candy?
Candy. Ice cream gives me bubble guts.
Dude, let me tell you something. Like, anything more than an ice cream cone from Dairy Queen, it just tears me off. Tears me off. That's how you know you're getting old.
Yep. And I prefer like fruity candy like Skittles or Starburst.
Yeah. Would you rather be killed by a snake or a scorpion?
A snake. So
why?
Because if I'm like I died, actually I'm not gonna say die by a python because that's gonna be weird. If I die by an anaconda, it looks better, and a scorpion's really small and it looks like I'm weak.
There you go. Horror or comedy?
Comedy. I get scared.
There you go. Dunkin' or Starbucks?
Dunkin'.
Okay. Basketball or football?
Depends. Is it college or pros?
Pro.
Pro football.
Okay. What were you going to say about Dunkin' and Starbucks?
You get more. I get like a 32-ounce cup, and it's more sweet.
Dude, I'm telling you, I never fucked with Starbucks until I moved to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And then they bought me like a luxury condo for work or whatever. And so I was in Dearborn, and the Starbucks or the one Dunkin', I had to go way out of my way. So I started going with Starbucks. I found blonde roast, and it was game over. But you better believe that anytime I go back through Chicago, I go see my sweetie Dunkin'.
Oh yeah, Dunkin's better.
Fitted or snapback?
Fitted.
Rap or rock?
Rap.
All right. You're full after a big meal, a damn good meal. Like you are at capacity,
Yep.
pants button undone, zipper down, but you have approximately 4 more bites left on my plate. You leaving it or you eating it?
Eating it. I can't say leaving it. We're too thick. We're eating that. And then I'm going to the bathroom.
That is so true. And I thank my parents for that, because my dad, who makes me look little, was like, if you don't eat what's on your plate, I'm gonna whip that ass.
Yeah.
There's a thing called full plate syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I'm ever as an adult, if I'm ever like, hey, I'm not gonna eat the rest of on my plate, like I go in the bedroom and have like a soft cry because like, oh my God, growth. I took a step in the right direction. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm like, I was full 52 spoonfuls before, but because everything's there, I just eat.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a Mexican household, and it's you better eat what's on your plate or you're not, like, you're going in your room for the rest of the night. I still feel like bad if I go to restaurants and don't eat everything. I'll scramble up all the stuff so it looks like I messed with it and it looks less on the plate. And then I put a napkin over it so no one looks at it.
Sure. Better value, PSA 10, BGS 9.5 True Gem, or SGC 10?
Right now, BGS, or SGC. I would say the best value right now is BGS 9s.
Okay.
BGS 9s.
Next week or next episode, I'm going to ask you to go into detail, but don't tell me now.
Okay.
And then last but not least, you are deserted on an island and you can only bring 3 items. What are they and why?
Oh boy, 3 items, huh? Let's see. I got to bring Kaylee or she's going to kill me because she watches the show.
You just referred to your wife as an item. I just want to point that out.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Not bringing her. I don't want to be in the doghouse. I'll probably bring, oh boy, this is tough. Like just 3 items.
Yeah, and if it makes the conversation that much easier for you, you and your wife are trapped on an island.
So my kids aren't?
God damn, okay, your wife and kids are good. You have to survive on an island. You can bring 3 items. What are they?
A pocket knife. Just in case something happens, I could use my pocket knife.
You don't strike me as somebody who knows how to sling a blade, but that's okay.
I don't. But at least I have it because if I'm going to survive, I'm going to have to learn. Let's see. Do you want to come with me? No, I have to bring. I mean, we're talking sports cards. I have to bring one of my PCs, right? But that's not going to help me survive. Gosh, I want to bring some clothes. Do I say like? Oh boy,
that's it. You brought your PC, you brought clothes, and you bought your pocket knife that you're going to do something with.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not surviving. If ever anything ever were to happen, I'm not surviving.
So can I ask you one thing? Please do not ever ask me this question or a question similar to this, because it'll turn into a 47-hour episode, because I will pause and then I will out loud articulate what I'm thinking and why logistically it makes sense or doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So for the sake of the listening audience and yourself,
don't
ever ask me a question like that.
I know you. I can't believe you asked me that. Stranded on an island. What am I bringing? I don't know. I'm a city. What are they? A city boy. I'm not going to survive. I'll probably last a week. So whatever I want for a week.
Yeah, mine would probably be like a pistol. I shoot myself in the head because I am a Hilton girl, and the
Yeah.
thought of being stranded on an island is like just a nightmare for me.
How would you get your coffee? Like you would die because you can't have caffeine.
I don't want to be on an island. I want to be in a nice penthouse with
Yeah.
all the amenities. Like to
Exactly.
me, camping or getting kicked in the teeth are my two options. I'm getting kicked in the teeth 100 times out of 100.
Yeah. Same. Me and
I
you
hate
live.
camping.
I hate camping. I hate being out in the woods. It's not fun to me. I make fun of my friends that hunt. This might be because they don't hunt. It's more of I'm gonna bring a rifle and shoot something. Why don't you use bare hands and make it even? Is what I tell them all the time.
Yeah, get in there, man.
Yeah,
Fucking
if you want to
these
hunt,
people, those people are crazy too because I work with them. They soak themselves in deer piss and
yeah,
fuck that. No, no, no,
exactly.
thank you. Hard pass.
They're cheating. They're using a gun, and the deer is just like has nothing. Why don't you go chase a deer and try to get them with your bare hands? Is what I tell them. Or a
So
turkey.
I'll leave you with this. Court like has done a phenomenal job cleaning the pool. We've got an in-ground pool, and what we found is when there's a heavy rain, there's a filter on the side. You open it up, you pull out the basket. Well, the other day there was like a frog in there, and she was like, "I had to get it." Yada yada yada. So she took the kids to Chicago for like a little mini vacation type thing, and I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna go clean the pool." Doing my thing like a badass. I opened it up, dude, and it was after a heavy, heavy rain.
Yeah.
There was 6 frogs in there, and I do not fuck with Mother Nature. I do not fuck with animals. No,
Yes.
thank you. So have you ever seen The Family Guy where Peter is trying to, like, with the shoebox lid, pick up the frog and throw it out the window?
Yeah.
And it, like, slides down. He picks it up. It slides down again, and it's, like, slow and drawn out. I
Yeah.
was trying to pick these things up because the way they were moving around, I couldn't tell if they were alive or dead. So I'm not a psychopath where I'm going to go in there with the shovel and, like, jam on their body. So I'm like, if they're alive, I'm going to try to preserve life. But like same thing, I would try to scoop it up. It's a rounded shovel, and it would slide off the side. Slide off the side. I was out there for like 15 minutes, and I'm like, a normal dude would get in there and just pick it up and grab it with his hands, but like, nah,
No.
fuck that. I'm gonna hire a pool girl or a pool boy. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I call my wife to kill spiders for me. So there's that.
Nothing wrong with that, dude. Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
So
I know my
episode 83. Follow me and Courtney on Instagram at Reckless Cards. All things Reckless Cards, except for Twitter. It's Reckless_cards because I fucked that one up. Follow Mr. Manny at Manny_for us. Please like, subscribe, leave comments, leave hate mail, send us money. Check us out on OnlyFans. Do the whole thing. But we really, if you stuck around for 90 minutes and listened to this, you're doing the Lord's work, in my opinion.
Yeah, thank you, Matt, because I know you're listening. But yeah, follow us on Too Thick as well on every platform. Too Thick Pod. Except
to be clear, I was talking about the pod. Wasn't plugging the personal social. So when I saw that like and subscribe shit, I was talking about Too Thick.
Yeah. Well, also everything is Too Thick Pod, Instagram, Twitter, except TikTok. I think we're Too Thick Pod _. So and we gotta do some more of these TikToks. So
I'm telling you, so yeah, and so like the social media on a side note, if you like real life shit happens, and this is a hobby, Manny was in the intensive care unit. I had to donate a kidney and a lung to keep him alive.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Then the 4th of July weekend, and so now we're back. We're back.
Yeah, we're back. So whenever Courtney tells us to do it, she's the one that tells us to do TikToks. So when she tells us to dance, I'm dancing. So
yep.
There's that. Well, thank you for the awesome show. It's been a good one, and we'll talk to you guys this weekend.